Hey yo, stop scrolling. Let me show you how you can get your Amapiano vocal sound like this.
Why you J? Angisakhonula lendlini stress sakho everyday. Nituwe kananzure atshati bandite. Dasenza chiboni ndivisa zinyembezi. Angithuthanda ipholo asenja sithabe mizolo tshena vamba mlobo chanda shamani dikodisola ufuna lona nendo lubona avichanga muzikini lora
Hey yo, what up, it's your boy Sam, Mr. Penn, and I'm back with another affordable tutorial. So let me show you how we got this sound, right? So in my switch off the ad-libs, we don't want some ad-libs, we just want the leads only here. So I'm gonna switch off the layering breakups and then some ad-libs, only leave the lead. I don't know, let's focus on the bridge, I think. No, let's start here.
Umameli uhinkinga dale uhinkinga dale Why nje angisakhonula lendlini stress sakho everyday Nituwe kananzure atshati bandite.
So like, yeah, I'm gonna show you how we got this sound, right? So let me highlight this only portion here. This preset is for all the Amapiano vocals, but then they should be private, right? So
why nje angisakhonula lendlini stress sakho everyday.
we wanna go to this thing here and then I'll switch off everything. And then if you're new to my channel here, make sure you subscribe to my channel. And then if you've been here, you know how to do. Comment preset and I'm gonna give you this preset for free. So first thing first, here we hit auto tune. On this auto tune here, nothing crazy. We had our tracking on 100 and then humanize on 43. Scale is minor and then key is C. And then input type is like alterno. And then return speed on 3. The first thing that you should do when you're mixing your vocals, make sure you start with the auto tune if you're gonna have auto tune. That is when you know where you have to go, right? And then make sure your auto tune is like corresponding to the key of the beat. Make sure you use the key that the beat is in so that you can have the quality sound, right? And then with this auto tune sounding like this.
Why nje angisakhonula lendlini stress sakho everyday.
And then yeah, after that we went to the compressor, which is like CLA to A mono. You gotta find yourself this plugin, and then if you don't have a waves plugin and then you wanna know how to get waves, comment waves and then it might give you the link where you can download this thing. And then yes, so on my gain here we are on 45 and then peak reduction on 53 and then here on high frequency we on 50. That's all I did. So what this plugin does, it adds some body, some strength to the vocals. So I'm gonna play with okay, you heard before without, and so I'm gonna play with.
Why nje angisakhonula lendlini stress sakho everyday. Nituwe kananzure atshati bandite. Dasenza chiboni ndivisa zinyembezi.
And then after that we went to the EQ. On this EQ we're using F6 EQ, and then on my EQ here we have to and then okay, first thing first, you look at high pass, I don't know what you call it, about 185 hertz, and then my cues like on 24, and then here on 600, 700, 1000, my gain is like on negative 5.4, and then that's all I did. Lastly, on the last part, like some on my high frequencies, I just came, and then on 10.9K I add about 4 dB of gain on the high so that I can get this kind of smooth air. I'm gonna play with the F6 and then without.
Why nje angisakhonula lendlini stress sakho everyday.
And then without.
Why you nje angisakhona ulala endlini stress sakho everyday ditu.
And then again I then came and add another EQ, which is like on this EQ here a high pass about 19, and then add again some A about 4.4. That's all I did. And then with these two EQs with something like this.
Why you nje angisakhona ulala endlini stress sakho everyday.
So my aim was trying to get that kind of gritty sound, that kind of very crispy open, cause like yeah, you know. And then yes, we came to the noise dispenser here, which is like NS1 mono. I just came and play with this. It's a one knob button, which is like here you add about, make sure you on 20 to 24. Yeah, that's the smooth and best position you wanna be at. So I'm gonna play with and without.
Why you nje angisakhona ulala endlini stress sakho.
Without.
Why you nje angisakhona ulala endlini stress sakho everyday.
And then now we came to the R compressor here. So on my R compressor here, if you don't have R compressor, you can use Fruity compressor. Copy this preset. My threshold is like on -8, and then my ratio is like on 3:1. My gain is like on 1.9, and then my attack is like on 35. Release on 100. That's all I did. Copy this preset. Use it on Fruity compress, and then you can sound like this.
Why you nje angisakhona ulala endlini stress sakho everyday.
And then again I went to the radiator, which is like I'm using Suntoys on this radiator here. I'm using the default preset. I just came and turned on this mic, and then my treble is like on first knob, and then we're sounding like this.
Why you nje angisakhona ulala endlini stress sakho everyday dituwe kananzure achadi bandit.
And then you would wanna DS your vocals just to reduce that kind of SS sound on your vocals, some harsh frequencies. So I load in the de-esser. If you don't have the de-esser, you can use Maximus, and then preset, go to de-esser narrow band or split. I think it's split band, but then the best one, I would advise you to go to narrow band. And then like here, what I did, my threshold is like on -6.3. My frequency is like on 6K. Make sure you on split. That's all I did. And then we're sounding like this with this plugin.
Why you nje angisakhona ulala endlini stress sakho everyday dituwe kananzure achadi bandite.
And then we went to the Fruity flanger. On this Fruity flanger here, I was trying to widen my vocals, so it's the default preset. But then I come drop this thing about 23%, right? So like we're sounding like this with this flanger.
Why you nje angisakhona ulala endlini stress sakho everyday dituwe kananzure achadi bandite.
So lastly is the delay. So we're using Fruity Delay 3, my favorite plugin from FL Studio stock, right? This is my favorite plugin. So on this delay here, my time is like on 4, tempo sync, ping pong, level here is like on 26.9, and then add distortion about 9%, 9% here, 9% here, and then on your tone, make sure your tone is like on -28.7. Leave your weight on max, and then you just come here and drop it about 14%. You're gonna be sounding like this.
Why you nje angisakhona ulala endlini stress sakho everyday.
And then from there we're gonna go to the send, and then load in the reverb. I'm using H-verb here, which is like I'm using the preset large verb. Also the Fruity reverb 2 has this. If not Fruity reverb, you can try the Lux verb, and then use large verb, and then just come here, drop it about 16%. You're gonna be sounding like this.
Why you nje angisakhona ulala endlini stress sakho everyday dituwe kananzure achadi.
And then from there I went to the H delay, which is like on my H delay here I'm using ping pong host lo-fi, and then my delay is like on 1:8 D. Then my high pass is like on 89. My low pass is like on 6.7 K hertz. I don't know if it's said like that. And then my feedback is like on 25. The rise like on 35. You just do the same as the reverb here. You drop this thing about 24%, and they're gonna be something like this.
Why you nje angisakhonula lendlini stress sakho every.
So I'm gonna switch on the beat, and then if you fuck with a preset here, I'm gonna leave this preset on the description down below so that you can download it for free. And then you would wanna let me know which tutorial to do next, and then it might do it for you. But then you have to subscribe first and then recommend. Don't recommend without subscribing. You see? So we're something like this.
Why you nje angisakhonula lendlini stress sakho every day. Dituwe kananzure atati bandite. Dasenza chiboni ndivisa zinyembezi. Angithuthanda ipholo passenger sithabe mizolo tshena vamba mlobo chanda shamane dikodisola ufuna lwana nendo lubona avichanga muzikini lora na.
And then I'm gonna take you window shop my ad-libs here. So on my ad-libs I'm using channel number 9. On this channel number 9 I only have fruity limiter, and then my cutoff is like on, it has 4 knobs, it doesn't show numbers this one, I don't know why. And then my resonance is like on full, and then my low pass is like, I don't know how many it guards, but then I'm just gonna give you the preset here. You're gonna find the preset that you can load in. I don't know, it doesn't show numbers this one, you just play with the ears. And then okay, it's something like this.
Why you nje angisakhonula lendlini stress sakho every day.
And then I add in the reverb. On this reverb here, my delay is like on 100 and pre-delay is like on 119, and then my size is like on 50, high cut on 4K. I make sure my low cut is like on 75, and then bass 100 here. DK is like on 2.7. My A is like on 0, wet on 47, dry on 100, and then something like this. Together with the ad-libs, with the lead vocal.
Why you nje angisakhonula lendlini stress sakho every day. Dituwe kananzure atati bandite.
And then the ad-libs, which I'm using channel 3, so I'm gonna switch off these two here and then take you to window shop my number 3. So on my, I'm gonna switch off this so you can get what I mean. So the auto tune, I told you about the auto tune first. So here's different because like my auto tune speed is like on 9 here, my human is on 57, and then alterno checking on 100. That's all I did. I'm sounding like this. And then I load in my 1 knob waiter stereo, and then you just play with this knob until you find the sweep. So I'm on 3:3. And then the fruity delay, and then lastly the flanger. Together they're sounding like this with the beat on.
Why you nje angisakhonula lendlini stress sakho every day. Dituwe kananzure atati bandite. Dasenza chiboni ndivisa zinyembezi. Angithuthanda ipholo passenger sithabe mizolo tshena vamba mlobo chanda shamane dikodisola ufuna lwana nendo lubona avichanga muzichini lora, avichanga muzichini lora. Na na
So yeah, tell me what to do next.